friends, welcome to Bookish Bliss, our virtual book club. Every week we will dig into a section of chapters in our favorite books. Let's get started.
Hey book besties, and welcome back to Bookish Bliss for episode 85. We have a lot to discuss today.
We are continuing our journey through Sarah J. Maas's Queen of Shadows, and this week it's all about chapters 56 to 70. So you don't have to read the entire book, but you do have to be caught up on the chapters we're covering because we are going full spoiler mode. Amanda, darling, what are you drinking tonight?
I actually brought the whole bottle of Mark Weston here, but also not going to have more than one glass, but I am going to have a glass tonight.
I did say we would drink tonight, but
you bitch
didn't open a bottle of wine. I don't want to get up.
Go. I'm just kidding. You don't have to.
No.
But I also brought a polar because it's my last one and I saved it this week. So I'll have one glass of red wine and one Pola ginger lime mule.
I promise.
How about you, darling?
Next week for the finale of Queen of Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And for final thoughts.
Oh, a 2-for-1.
I'll have a glass of wine just to make up for tonight because tonight I'm drinking a jug of water. Your girl has had a day.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm having wine.
True. I just kind of forgot we said that. And my kitchen, I am looking at it, but I don't want to get up.
Wow.
To find the wine cork.
The whole Bookish Bliss community right now is saying, get up, get up, get up.
I just don't even know where my wine opener is at the moment because I have not had a glass of wine in my home since January. Not saying that I haven't drank at all, because I have. We all know I have. But I just don't drink as much anymore.
Poured enough for the both of us.
Yes. Thank you. But cheers to episode 85 of Bookish Bliss and part 5 of Queen of Shadows.
Wow,
cheers.
Part 5. Cheers, darling.
Plus, just a heads up, me and Amanda just watched Wicked Night on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes. Amazing night.
So if we sing throughout this whole episode, because we keep singing the like yes, and even the one from like the commercial when she's like, Alphaba Thrup, get inside before the monkeys get you, and she's like, it's like
yes, girl. No.
We also can't sing. So
no, literally, I'm an awful singer.
But we've decided we love to record after Dancing with the Stars because we get to just do whatever we want.
But also, I feel hyped. I feel like so hyped. Last week was dedication night. My eyes were literally, when I'm editing, I'm like, am I
cried so much?
My eyes were like big and puffy. I was like, whoa.
And tonight was Wicked Night, so we're just like, woo! Even though Scott went home.
No, don't tell them.
Well, it already happened. By the time this episode airs, they'll see it on TikTok 20 times.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Sorry if we spoiled that for you.
But I called it. I said, he's going home tonight. I hate to be right sometimes.
I know. I hate that you're right. I mean, Andy did really, really, really good, but I really thought he was going to go.
That was his best dance of the whole season.
Yeah, it was so good.
Took the feedback that they gave him, utilized the whole floor, wasn't just dancing in one spot.
No.
And I hate to say it, but Scott's dance tonight was the worst of the night.
I know. Of the night, yes. But like of overall, no.
No, of course, no.
Yeah.
But I think Andy has this like huge fan base surrounding him.
Well, he just like touches you. I vote for him every week. I love Andy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, dance-wise, he's always at the bottom.
I didn't vote for Andy, and I didn't vote for Scott.
I voted for them both.
There's a couple of people I didn't vote for tonight.
Me too.
But I didn't vote for either of them. Maybe I voted for Scott a couple of times, but I have my favorites, and that's that.
Who was your favorite dance of the night?
Favorite dance of the night? Andy's really does stick out to me, but besides Andy, like I really loved Elaine's dance.
Yeah, that was so good. I think my favorite of the night, though, was Jordan's, and Danielle was really a big surprise tonight.
Yeah, I have to rewatch Danielle's because I was like,
Oh, it was so good.
I
Her
was,
face was like not
yeah,
intense. It was kind of just like blank. And she was
yeah,
really trying to be intense.
yeah.
But like the dance, her legs, the moves, I was like, whoa.
I think that's what was distracting me was how tight her upper body seemed. And so I didn't really see the cool moves. And when they did like one lift, I was like, ooh. And Kelsey's like, what do you mean, ooh? That was like really good. And so
No, it
I think I
was
need to like
so good.
rewatch it because I was just
Yeah.
distracted by other things. So,
Also, I feel like Dylan got cheated tonight.
and he was in the bottom three.
That's bullshit.
I
He
don't
should
think
have
he
at
was,
least got a 9. Like, that's ridiculous. He didn't get 1 9.
it could not be like the bottom three, but one
Hmm.
of them is going home. I don't think he was like third to last. I think they were doing that because they want to. I feel like they do that to like a good couple, like every
Yeah.
once in a while to like scare their fans.
Yeah. But also, he was in the bottom 3 tonight, so it made sense.
Yeah, yeah,
But anyways, that's our bookish news for this week because we're obsessed with Dancing with the Stars, and what a night it was.
we are obsessed. Oh, but we did finish some books. I
Yeah.
finished Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Gerber. I love Stephanie from her Caraval
Mhm.
series. This was her first adult book, and I loved it. I did not like how rushed the ending seemed, but I'm excited for book two.
Nice.
And I'm currently reading The Haunting of Payne's Hollow, which is very like
Ooh,
spooky Halloween
spooky.
book, and I'm really
Yeah.
liking it so far. I'm like halfway through.
Nice. I finished the Dead Guy Next Door series, the 4th book, Body in the Backyard.
Nice.
Honestly, not my favorite one, but that's okay. It was still good, but not my favorite one of the 4. I started listening to The Intruder by Frida McFadden.
Nice.
Really good so far. I think I'm on chapter 18. And then I picked this up. I don't know if I ever told you about this series. Well,
No.
it's not a series, but When Life Gives You Vampires.
You
And like
love
the first
vampires.
I love vampires, and it's spooky season, so
Yeah.
the first book is about her being a vampire, but every time there's a vampire, there's a slayer that's created too to
Mm,
like balance it out. So the second book is about a girl becoming a slayer. So it's not related at all, but I love my vampire books.
you do. Love
'Tis the
it.
season.
Yes, next week's Halloween.
Yes, darling. And how fitting that it will be the end of Queen of Shadows.
Yes, it is very fitting.
Let's go.
I'm obsessed.
I can't even wait to get started tonight.
I know. We have a lot to talk about.
We do. So, how about we do get started with the good stuff and break down Queen of Shadows Part 5. We are starting with Megan tonight and ending with her.
Yes, darling. We kept going back and forth with the extra chapters each week. But next week I think we have an even amount of chapters.
Do we?
I
No,
think we
it's 71 to 89, right?
is it?
Mhm.
Oh, we just kept going back and
I
forth the
think
whole
so.
season. The whole
Yeah, the
season.
whole
Like
season.
the whole season of this
It
book.
feels like a season.
Yes. All right, here we go. Chapter 56. Aelin, Rowan, Adian, Kale, and Nezrin were all staying at a ramshackled inn near where the meeting point would be with the king and the witches, and they needed to rescue Lysandra. Aelin said no one takes off Lysandra's finger or head without Aelin making the call. Kale warns them all not to touch Dorian. Aelin tells them all that they are going to paint themselves in word marks to protect themselves from the prince. They will also not be taking out the king. Their top priority is to save Lysandra. They don't want the witches or the wyverns sniffing them out. They said too bad Lorcan was psychotic because they could have used him tomorrow. They didn't know if Lorcan would care about Adian's heritage, just how he might use it against Gavriel. Adian said he had no interest in meeting with him unless he brought the rest of the cadre over here to help them fight. Adian said that he didn't think that there were any Fae left here for them to fight. The king had wiped them all out thoroughly unless they were all stuck in their animal form. For the rest of the day, Rowan planned out their course of action and then they all went to bed. Rowan scolded Aelin for not sleeping and she said she couldn't because the bed was too lumpy. Rowan assures Aelin they will get Lysandra back and that she wouldn't have to bury another friend. She brings up losing Rowan, which he shoots down immediately, and tells her that he will sort out every thought she had in her head with his words or with his teeth and tongue.
Okay.
Aelin said that the inn was loud enough if he wanted to show her now, but Adium would still be able to hear them. Aelin presses a kiss to his throat and scrapes her nails down him before rolling over and going to sleep. Rowan promptly got up and dunked a pitcher of cold water over himself.
That's hilarious. I
That part
can't.
was so funny. So basically, this is kind of like a filler chapter. There's,
Yeah.
except getting us from point A to point B. We're here nearby the woods where the meeting point will be between the king and the witches, and Lysandra will be there in the prison wagon. So, top priority is to protect themselves and word marks from Dorian.
Yeah.
And not to engage anybody else. Their plan is to get Lysandra out when everyone is distracted and get out as quickly and quietly as they possibly can.
Yeah. I was actually really nervous for this scene because I'm like, what the fuck is going to happen when they try to get Lysandra back? Like, was she a trap the whole time? But also at the same time, I was so excited for the witch's story and the king's story and Aelin's story to collide. I was like, this is going to be
This
epic.
is the
I'm like,
moment.
yes.
Yes, finally, kind of all the stories are merging
Yes.
into one in this one
Yes.
scene. Yeah,
Yes.
it's really cool.
Amazing.
Lorcan gets brought up again, and Gavriel and Adian being father-son, and the cadre only them being useful if they will come to fight for Aelin and Terrasen. So I thought that was interesting to point out again.
And Lorcan is a bastard.
And Lorcan is a bastard. Yeah, Rowan and Aelin just kind of growing closer together in their intimacy.
Yes.
We've seen him kind of put his mouth on her throat, and now she's doing it back, which
Attention.
causes him to need to take a cold shower, which is just in their times dunking a pitcher of cold water over
I could
his whole
just
body.
see, like, if I was a fly on the wall, Aelin just, like, smirking in bed when she hears, like, the water splash on him.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that was great. I
It
love
was
the
awesome.
tension. I
Me
can't wait
too.
for them to actually, like I mean, we got a kiss, but, like, for them to actually, like, do the deed. Damn, Megan, okay.
Okay.
Yes, that.
Yes.
Chapter 57. Aelin, Rowan, Adian, Kale, and Nezrin were moving through the oak-walled forest, Brandon's ancient territory, her forest, when they heard the growls and roars of large beasts. They climbed trees for cover and observed a meadow containing 13 wyverns. Aelin immediately noted the smallest one lying in wildflowers, with iron spikes along its back and tail and expensive spider silk adorning the creature's wings. Aelin momentarily panicked at the sight of the wyvern, knowing there was an entire army, but quickly regained her composure, remembering her identity as Aelin Ashriver Galathinius. She takes note of their wing leader, the most beautiful creature Aelin has ever seen. Aelin recognizes that the figures in the meadows were not women, but witches. Although Aelin felt that they were so dead, Adian reminded her that she had already defeated a matron and could handle her inferiors. They agreed that Lysandra could not risk approaching the wyverns, as a quick takeoff would prevent any rescue attempt. The group then saw horses approaching, carrying a matron, the king, and Dorian, along with the prison wagon. More witches appeared, and Aelin identified the black-haired female as the Blackbeak matron. The witches hauled a covered wagon that must have been carried by the wyverns, which Aelin recognized as similar to the one used at the Glass Palace during Holland's carnival. She dreaded knowing its contents. Finally, the royal party arrived, with Dorian at his father's side wearing a black collar and showing nothing human in his face.
Oh, shit.
Shit is about to go down.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going through this forest and we see the wyvern.
Yay. Maybe not yay for them, but
I was literally saying yay too. I'm like, yay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I'm like, it's either going to be a trap, but either way, they're going to meet the witches. So
shout out to Braxos
for
doing his
playing in the
thing.
wildflowers always. It's so funny because she describes him with iron spikes along its back and tail and spider silk wings, and he's playing in the flowers.
Yeah, but she's the only one that recognized the spider silk for what it really
Mhm.
is because no one else knows this because it's a secret.
Yeah, and she says it must have been expensive.
Mhm.
That spider's coming back to get what's owed to her.
Dead.
She was remembering here that, there's not just 13 of them, there's a whole army of these things. And she's like, you know
Mhm.
what? Fuck that. I'm Aelin Ashiver Galathinius.
Hell yeah.
I love every time she has these moments.
Mhm.
She figures out who is the wing leader here. Most beautiful creature she's ever seen.
Manon is hot, so
I know, but I don't picture her as hot.
she is.
I don't know why I don't, but now after I read this section, I do. But I always
Yeah.
pictured her as like, I don't know, this mean ogre looking witch.
No, she's gorgeous.
Well, now I'm paying attention to Ollie. Especially because I think she caught somebody else's eye that we'll talk about later.
Ah!
But the king approaches with the matron. Dorian's here with no fucking human in his face at all.
Mhm.
And there's one of these wagons that was similar to what she went to battle Yellow Legs at the carnival.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
she's like, oh, fuck. What the fuck's in there? Like, there could be a whole army of witches in there.
Literally.
Crazy. So I don't know. But let's see what happens.
Well, what
I do
happened
know,
was
but.
Chapter 58. Manon stated that she hated the forest they were currently in because the trees were so close that they had to leave their wyvern behind and had scouted for the best clearing where there was less likely to be any ambushes from any rebels. Her grandmother strode through the trees with her coven escort, and a covered wagon was with them. Her grandmother told her to stay silent or she would rip her throat out. She knew she would need to speak to her grandmother later because the king was now arriving with his party, and they were not silent about their arrival. Their party had brought a prisoner with them.
Oh,
Manon was
no.
shocked because her grandmother had slightly bowed to the king. She was
Whoa.
introduced to the king and she kept her mouth shut, even though her grandmother wanted to murder her when she told the king that she was told to keep her mouth shut. The king tells her grandmother that they chose their wing leader well. Then her grandmother went to show the king his new weapon inside of the caravan. Manon decided while they went in and she wasn't invited that she would speak to the princeling.
Oh.
But before we get to that scene, Kale was watching Dorian and saw that even though it was the same face, Dorian was not inside of himself anymore. Kale feels responsible again because he had ran. Aelin had been right and it would be a mercy to kill him. Aelin gave him the nod that now was the time to save Lysandra, and for Nehemia, he would not falter. The demon inside of Dorian did not like Manon because she had the eyes of their kings. He
Woo!
responded to her with a "Hello, witchling." He smiled at Manon because the demon was retreating inside of him, was scared of Manon. Manon wanted to know if Dorian was a man or a demon and what color he would bleed. Dorian told her that he would bleed whatever color she told him to.
Ooh!
Manon asks his name, and after some hesitation and arguing with the demon, he does remember that his name is Dorian.
Let's go.
Aelin saw Dorian's humanity briefly when interacting with Manon before it was gone again. The witch was asking him if he wanted her to kill him, which Dorian said he wanted her to do a lot of things to him. Rowan signaled a bird's call, which instructed Adian and Nezerin to mess with the wyvern. With everyone thoroughly distracted, Kale and Aelin approached the wagon and got the door unlocked. Lysandra was inside with no ring and no collar around her neck, and they save her! Yay!
Woo!
The king came back out with the High Witch and their party left. The High Witch then struck Manon and said that she had gotten Manon's letters and that she was ignoring her. Her grandmother did know about the breeding and wasn't
Was.
going to do anything to stop it. Manon's grandmother told her to look at what she created. When Aelin turned around after watching this scene play out, she realized that Kale was gone.
Damn.
Dun, dun, dun.
I just have to say, we called it with the grandma. We
Yeah,
knew. She didn't give a fuck,
she just
Manon.
not give a fuck. Let's just skip over the king and his nonsense in this scene and go straight to Dorian and Manon, which was Chef's kiss, perfect meet cute, I think, in my
Yes.
opinion. Yes, I love that
He
the demon,
remembers his name?
he remembers his name for the first time when interacting with Manon. And
Mhm.
they have this, like, flirty banter going back, which is totally Dorian. That is
Yep.
not the demon talking, because the demon is thoroughly petrified of Manon because she has the eyes of their kings, which we briefly talked about last episode
Yeah,
because
didn't I guess that? That she was an offspring of
yes,
the
you did. But we talked about the eyes last week because Roland had also been afraid of her because of the
Yeah.
gold in her eyes.
Yeah.
And so now we know why, because those are the eye colors of their kings.
Indeed.
But my favorite line in this whole fucking section, like the whole section,
I already
is
know.
"I'll bleed whatever color you tell me to."
Yep.
It is a huge
He
line
texted
throughout
me that.
this whole series. It's like one of
So
the top
good.
lines because it is just so good. Dorian, demon inside him or not, is the best flirt I think I've seen in any book
This is why he's
series.
gonna save himself so that he can be with Manon. Duh.
Duh.
He remembered his name after months of being in the collar. Or maybe not months, but weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Also,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just clock all my predictions throughout because I come up with the best predictions when we're mid convo.
Yeah.
And instead of like pausing and saying it at the end, I'm just gonna go with the flow and say
Do it, honey.
it.
Do what feels best.
Thanks, darling. That's my prediction. He's gonna save himself for Manon, or Manon's gonna be there when he saves himself.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. But our group does save Lysandra. Yay. And she
Yay!
seems a little shaken up, maybe a little bruised up, hiding in the corner. But she
Yeah,
has no ring and no
thank
collar
God.
around her neck. So we don't have to deal with the consequences of that.
Thank God. She
Maybe if
would
she
have
had
had to
made
lose
it
a
to
finger.
Morath, then maybe she would be collared or have a ring on her finger.
Yeah. True.
But they don't.
Nope.
We already kind of talked about the High Witch. That bitch knows
That
about the
bitch.
breeding and doesn't care.
The high witch. That bitch.
And Kale seems determined to stop Dorian now that he's gotten his eyes on
I
him and
know.
saw no soul.
Literally.
So he takes off from the group, which is never a good sign. You're never
No.
supposed to leave the group. You stick together. You
Kale
stay
is
in the group.
always a problem child lately.
He is a problem child. He's always been a problem child.
Chapter 59. As soon as the king returned, the Valk demon regained control over Dorian, but Dorian was still able to recall Manon's golden eyes and her instruction to come find her, even remembering her name. Kale, believing this was his last chance, planned to kill Dorian before the king could take him back to the castle. However, his path was blocked by the 13 witches and the wyvern, who are smiling as they position themselves directly in front of him.
Oops.
As the confrontation began, Nesrin quickly took Lysandra to safety while Rowan, Adian, and Aelin went after Kale. They found him covered in blood with Manon's hand clamped around his throat. Manon threatened to give Kale to the king in exchange for the prisoner, but Aelin offered herself instead. When Manon threatened to turn them all over, Aelin revealed her identity, Aelin Galathinius, Queen of Terrasin. Manon, deciding that fighting Aelin was less trouble than dealing with her grandmother's breeding orders, handed Kale over, claiming she had no interest in prisoners or battling. Instead of retreating, Aelin provoked Manon by showing her the scar from Baba Yellowlegs and calling Manon smarter than her. Recognizing Aelin as a witch killer, Manon lunged, but slammed into an invisible barrier and was instantly frozen midair. Aelin instructed her companions to run. With the wyvern unable to fly among the trees, the witches were forced to pursue them on foot. The group had to cross two precarious bridges, single file. Adian was first, followed by Kale. As Aelin and Rowan crossed, Manon's arrow flew toward Aelin. She dodged the shot only to see another arrow coming, with Manon anticipating her evasive move. Rowan quickly shoved Aelin out of the way, the arrow hitting his shoulder.
Oh, shit.
Ah! Also, the whole time I have to tell you, after every chapter, I do my notes.
Yeah.
So I'm reading my chapter and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And Nate's like, what is going on with you? And I was just like, you have no idea what's going on with me right now.
So funny.
I was hyped at every single chapter.
It is It is a good section. I mean, this whole book is pretty fucking fabulous.
Yeah. And I love that we're seeing more human in Dorian now when he's on the page. Like, it was so fucking depressing before.
I
He
know.
remembers that she says to come find her,
Mm-hmm.
remembers her name. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. But now we have Kale finally seeing Dorian and thinking Aylin's right and that he should kill him. So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to have to deal with that in a little bit. But first, he has to deal with the witches.
Because he fucked up and went the wrong way.
Exactly. Typical Kale. So Nesrin quickly gets rid of Lysandra. She's like, we just saved this bitch. We ain't fucking losing her now.
Yeah.
So Aelin and Manon have a fucking face off, and it was golden. It
Oh
was
my
so
god.
good.
It was just so typical of Aelin to cause bullshit because
More
Manon
bullshit.
really wasn't gonna fight her.
No. And she's
And she's
like,
like, look what I have.
yeah,
Bitch, you were about to walk out of there scot-free, like without any fighting.
literally.
And you had to fucking say,
She
I
had
killed
to.
Baba Yellowlegs,
Yep.
causing all this nonsense.
Why did she do that?
Well, I mean, I guess it sets it up nicely for like the life debt and things to come down the line. So it kind of had to have the scene, but it definitely was unprovoked for Aelin to cause
Yeah.
some nonsense here in
She's
this
crazy.
scene. She is
It was like
crazy.
a power move, I guess, almost.
Well, Aelin didn't believe that Manon was going to let them walk out of there without a fight. And so I think she was just doing
Yeah.
it on her own terms. She really was going to let them go because she didn't want to deal with any of that after her confrontation with the grandmother
Yeah,
and
no.
seeing what the weapon was.
And also thinking about the breeding. She has so much other crazy shit
Yeah,
going on. Like, she
she
does not
really
care.
wasn't going to fight them.
Yeah. Damn, Aelin. Damn.
Literally.
Little crazy bitch. We're trying to escape. There's these little rinkety dink bridges. They have to go one by one. And of course, Aelin and Rowan are last. Manon's fucking smart. She knew Aelin was going to dodge the first arrow, so she throws a second and it goes right into Rowan's shoulder. I'm like, oh God, what the hell's going to happen now?
I know. I was just trying to picture this temple in my head, and I just kept thinking of those like Aztec pyramid things. I don't know. I was like trying to picture this scene in my head because I do when I read the story, like I see it, like I see the
Yeah.
clearing and the king and like all of them are so vivid in my mind. And so when I was like trying to picture this temple, I couldn't like picture it as good as I wanted. It was really frustrating me.
You need to look at some fan art. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some of some temple somewhere.
That's true. Chapter 60. Rowan had been hit. He slammed into the temple stones. His blood was spraying everywhere, but then he was up and running again, yelling at Aelin to keep moving. If the arrow had been an inch over, it would have hit his heart. Aelin wrapped an arm around Rowan as they continued to run through the temple. Adian was using his own arrows to fire at the 13 to keep them back as they continued to make their escape. Aelin used the blood oath to command Rowan to cross the second bridge when he didn't want to leave her behind. Aelin had just enough time to pull out Goldrin and turn as Manon came up behind her and they started to battle.
Wild.
Manon did not care that Aelin was a queen or a savior. She was her enemy, and she was going to kill her. Aelin had killed Baba Yellowlegs, and their law demanded that she kill Aelin. They continued to fight, and Manon gave the order for most of the 13 to return to the wyverns, but Manon told Astrid to back off the arrows because Aelin was hers to kill. Aelin also ordered Adian to back off. They decided against swords, and Aelin grabbed daggers, and Manon was like, hell yeah, I'll use my iron nails. The battle continued for quite some time that I don't feel like I need to go through each
No.
blow that was hit,
No.
but they're equally matched until Aelin did get the best of Manon and the temple crashed down on top of her as Aelin ran for the second bridge. When Aelin was about to cross, she heard Astrid scream for Manon. Aelin, probably against her better judgment, turned back from Manon and grabbed her from the rubble and ran with her to the bridge. Aelin told her she was too good of a fighter to kill. Aelin said if she died for her, then she would beat the shit out of her in hell. Manon told Aelin that she should have just let her die, and she's like, yeah, yeah, as they lunged to make it across the bridge before it fell completely, and Adian grabbed Aelin, and Kale helped Manon. Manon was in and out of consciousness. Aelin had run for Rowan, and Kale was pressing a cloth to his wound. Manon heard Rowan call Aelin Fireheart and passed back out. When she woke up again, they were all gone, and the 13 were arriving with their wyvern. Manon now owed the Queen of Terrasen that saved her life, her enemy, a life debt. She also knew that her grandmother she also now knew what her grandmother had made for the king of Adarlan and how he planned to destroy them.
Wild.
This was like just epic. I was like, I could not wait for you to see Aelin and Manon interact for the first
I
time.
know. It
They
was so good.
are basically equally matched and
Mhm.
basically the same person, just in two
Mhm.
different bodies. The both of them are two of my most favorite characters of all time in any book series that I've read.
I do love them both.
And I have a really hard time deciding who I love more because they are
Ooh.
so equal to me in my mind.
Yeah. That
So
was such a good scene.
this showdown was just
Epic.
exactly what I was waiting for
Yes.
since Manon was introduced on the page in Airfire.
Yes. It's been so long. It's been almost
Yes.
2 books.
But I
We
love
finally meet.
that Aelin turns back for her after Astrid screams for her, and
Mhm.
she says she felt the tug towards her just like she did with Irene in
Yes.
Assassin and the Healer, and she's like, "I don't know what this is, but I feel like I have to turn back. I'm being pulled back to save her." And
That's
now
crazy.
Manon owes
What does that
her
mean?
a life debt.
What does that mean, though, the tug?
I don't know.
Has to
It
mean something.
It's definitely is just setting things, I feel like, into motion.
Yeah, for sure.
Manon's like, fuck. My enemy, the queen of fucking Terrasen, I now owe a life debt to. And also,
Yeah.
double fuck, I know what my grandmother made, and we are fucking screwed.
Oh, no. I was so nervous to find out what this weapon was, to be honest, or how they're even gonna use this, but
I don't even want to tell you.
I don't wanna know. Moving
I
on.
don't even want to know the things that I know.
Oh my god. Don't scare me, Megan.
You should be scared.
For the next section or for the rest of the series?
The rest of the series.
Okay.
I don't know if we
I might have
see
cried.
I don't know if we see this weapon in play in this book, or even that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chapter 61. Aelin, Rowan, Adian, Kale, and Nezrin. I feel like I say this at every one of my chapters.
I did it too. I'm like,
The crew.
the 5 of them.
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, wait, you forgot Lysandra. She's there too.
Oh, yeah, Lysandra. Sorry. The crew and Lysandra were forced to retreat through the Oakwold forest. Rowan was gravely injured, losing color and unable to hold up his head, leaving Aelin miserable and desperate for a place to rest. Kale proposed going to Nesrin's father's country house, where a man married to a midwife named Marta could help, even though Marta was not a healer. Aelin fiercely warns Kale and Nesrin that any betrayal would mean their death, a fact both understood as they led the way. Upon arrival, Fleetfoot greeted Aelin, dancing around her before inspecting the rest of the group. Marna informed them that the blood moss applied to the wound, which Adian had administered, had saved Rowan's life, and she immediately began to clean, disinfect, and patch the wound while Aelin watched closely. Marta then ordered Aelin to clean herself up, fearing that she would infect Rowan with how dirty she was. Adian took over the watch of Rowan because she doesn't trust anybody.
No.
Kale followed Aelin outside and apologized, admitting that he wanted to end Dorian's suffering and that Aelin had been right all along about the need to kill him. Aelin, who felt Kale deserved the final mercy, told him they would free magic together and then they would both go in and end Dorian's life together. Kale felt immense guilt for having called her a monster weeks earlier. The next morning, Rowan had recovered enough to walk. Aelin, Adian, and Rowan left before the staff woke up, saying goodbye only to Fleetfoot, and used the early morning mist to cloak them on their journey back to Rifthold one last time.
One more time.
One more time, I
We're
want
gonna
to
celebrate.
celebrate. Oh, yeah, oh, right. Even though they're not going to party in Rifthold, but it's okay.
No, not at all.
So Rowan's injured. We're going to see the healer. Well, Marta. She's not really a healer, but she's a whatever they call her.
Midwife.
A midwife, yeah. She's going to help our boy Rowan out here. And
Mhm.
of course, Aelin is like looking over her shoulder. She does not trust a thing. And the midlife's like, please, go take a bath.
You smell.
Kale follows Aelin outside and fucking apologizes about the whole Dorian shit.
We get the closure I think we finally needed between the two of them here.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Is
think
this
they
the scene?
finally like settled yeah. Cuz
Yeah.
he apologizes and she's like, "You know what? Let's let bygones be good bygones."
Yeah. Is this where he tells her like she deserves to be happy
Yeah,
and
and he
she's like,
deserves to
"You
be
do
happy.
too." Yeah.
Yeah. And she mentions Nesrin
Mm.
and Kale mentions Rowan.
Mhm.
It's not just us catching on to it, it's them too.
Yeah.
Before we say goodbye to this chapter, we have to talk about Fleetfoot.
I
He
was
runs up
so
to her.
happy to see
So
Fleetfoot.
cute.
I
Runs
know.
around her, dancing around her, and then he's like inspecting everyone. He's like, "Who's coming with my mom?"
I know.
So
I
cute.
know. I love Fleetfoot, but he's safe and happy here at this manor house until, Aelin is able to take her doggy back, but
Yeah.
I love Fleetfoot.
I can't wait for that reunion, honestly.
Hmm.
It's going to be a good one. The three of them, the three amigos.
Where's Lysandra?
Or Nesrin.
Or Kale? Where
Or
are they?
Kale. I don't know. They just stay. They just sneak out before the morning before everybody.
Everyone's just sleeping
And they're heading back to Rifthold just for one more time.
for the
Which I feel
final
like
showdown.
she already had like this last moment as Selena for me, and now she's having it again. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is really the last time.
She uses Selena when needed.
Yeah.
But it's just so crazy. We're like heading into the final showdown of
I
this
know.
book. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more showdowns, but
I can't believe we're in the last 100 pages after this episode.
I honestly feel like we just started Queen of Shadows and it's already over.
Flew by.
This book is so epic.
It's so
It
good.
went by so fast.
It's so good. It's my favorite one of the series so far. And I'm not
Mhm.
even done.
No, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, chapter 62. Manon didn't bother with niceties as she landed in front of the king's traveling party with the Braxos. The king wanted to know what she wanted and why she looked like she just died and came back to life. Manon advised him that rebels took the prisoner that he had in the wagon and attacked her 13, that she had slaughtered them all. She came to tell him that they were not to be a caravan to carry prisoners at his will. They are meant for battle, that her grandmother may be a high witch, but she rides at the head of his armies. Manon also wanted to know if the king was really going to use the mirrors with Shadowfire. The king didn't like her asking questions, but she just wanted to know what she was dealing with. That weapon was meant for full-blown extermination, and there would be little to no fighting at all. The king never did answer as she took back to the skies with the Braxos. Alide was still waiting for the wagon to come. It was 2 days late. She hardly slept because she was worried she would miss it. Finally, the wagon arrived, but all of her gear was in Manon's room. When she finally got up there and opened the door, her uncle was inside and he wanted to know where she was going.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I hated that for Alide.
Yes.
Poor little baby girl.
I know. So we get a little Alide update, which is not good. Not good
No,
news.
not good news.
But really, the only thing I want to touch on in this chapter is the weapon that the grandmother
Oh,
created.
a
And
weapon.
basically, the mirrors inside of this contraption, this caravan, if Shadowfire was used with the mirrors, it will amplify the power. And we're not talking about just some people will die, everyone
Extermination.
will be dead. Manon's like, we will not be fighting. They will all be dead
Yeah,
if
that's
he uses this
crazy.
weapon.
She's probably like, I'll be dead too.
Everyone will be dead
Yeah. What's the point of killing everybody? Oh,
unless they
wait,
can
I know.
control the direction of where the power
No,
goes
they're
to.
gonna kill everybody and then have them as an army for all the fucking Valg to go in their body.
Oh, because the king will have all three keys to make an army of the dead.
Yes,
To
that's my prediction.
to cross
Number 2.
into other worlds and murder Rhysand and Feyre.
Well, wouldn't that be an epic ending to this story?
R.I.P. No, just kidding.
Not your number one book boyfriend.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not being serious.
Chapter 63. Vernon cornered Alide, telling her there was no point in running and that Manon wouldn't save her. He slashed her arm with a knife, but as Alide felt her blood singing a command to fight, she declared herself a Blackbeak. Vernon overpowered her, slamming her head, and revealed that she was a valuable hybrid prize due to the witch blood and the magic in her family's bloodline. He
Hmm.
then threw her into the dark cell, leaving her there, blaming her for this outcome by confirming her witch blood and allying with Manon. Immediately summoned by the Duke, Manon was accompanied by Sorel and Vesta. She explained her deceived appearance by claiming they were ambushed by rebels, all of whom she killed. The Duke provided Manon with reports, through which she quickly deduced a massive network of events. Roland had been intentionally sent to them to be executed, and she learned of Aelin's entire journey in Wenlin, Adian's journey, capture and rescue, and Kale's recent actions betraying the king. Manon realized the group's true purpose in the area was to save Lysandra and kill Dorian, whom they believed was gone, but she knew there was still a man inside that body. She also learned that the matron had provided a weapon, and the witches had complete control over the tower in preparation for Aelin. When the Duke pressed her for a choice for the next breeding coven, Manon stalled, promising an answer in 2 days. As Manon headed back, Astrid urgently intercepted her, demanding they talk. They flew alone into the mountains. Astrid confessed a painful secret. 80 years ago, she became pregnant by a human hunter. When she gave birth to a stillborn witchling, the matron viciously beat her, burned the baby, and branded Astrid unclean, a mark of the highest shame. Astrid had hidden the branding from Manon, knowing she would have defended her, and swore her loyalty to Manon over the matron from that day forward. She desperately pleaded with Manon not to let the matron force the witches to breed demon babies. She revealed the other covens had suffered similar brutality, and Manon had been lied to by everyone, including Vesta and Sorel, who knew the truth of the matron's cruelty. Manon, telling Astrid they needed to proceed cautiously, knew she was about to do something very stupid. Megan's crying, guys, if you can't,
No, I'm
if you're
not
not
crying right
watching.
now, but I did cry when I was reading this chapter
Yeah,
because it's just so devastating.
it is so
The
devastating.
the hunter stayed there in the woods waiting for Astrid to come back. Even
I
as he grew
know.
old, he would sit outside watching for her, and she just never went back because she thought he might have the same reaction as the matron, and I just don't think that that's true, and it just
No.
devastates me. Obviously, she would have lost him eventually because she
Yeah.
is immortal and he is the human man, but
Yeah.
it's just so devastating, and I just was
80 years.
crying.
Yeah, so devastating. And Allied, we start off the chapter with like her being cornered by Vernon.
Hmm.
He's capturing her, he smashes her head, gets her into this cell, but also he says something that I don't think I realized before this chapter, which I don't know if I missed it or if like this was the first time we're hearing it, but he says she's a hybrid prize due to her witch blood and her magical bloodline.
Mm.
But I didn't realize she had also had a magical bloodline side.
I feel like a lot of people in Terrasen have a magical bloodline,
Yeah.
which made them a dangerous territory
But also, I don't know. I
because they
just
had
feel
that
like,
full
do they
magic
mention that
school.
before though? That she also had magic in her blood
Yeah,
besides being a witch?
I think so.
Because
What's
they
his
talk
name?
about her mom, but only being a witch, helping her.
No, I think a lot of the ruling families in Terrasen have magical bloodlines because even what's his face, Murtaugh and what's Ren's siblings were at that magic school when they were slaughtered, right? Is it Ren's
Yeah.
sisters that were there? I just think a lot of them in Terrasen have magical bloodlines.
Okay. Because I was like, was there something there that I missed? Because I don't remember her ever
I don't
or
know if
them saying she was magical before.
I mean, I don't know if everyone has a magical power. Like Adian has like the Fey hearing and sight, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have a magical power.
Yeah.
And I think Alide has that like knowing cunningness, and I think that's part of her maybe like
Oh.
gift. But I
Yeah.
mean, she doesn't have a magical power.
Yeah.
She just has like a
Magic
bloodline
in her
that
brother.
has
Yeah.
magic in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Kudos to Manon here too, because she literally figures out their entire plan about Aylin's whole journey. She figures out about Roland coming to see them. Like, she puts it all together here.
Duh.
She's so smart. She blows off the Duke again. She's like, "You're gonna give me 2 days because I fucking said so. You're not the boss here, I am." About pressing her for a breeding coven, and Astrid interrupts her. This is where we get this devastating story from her. I love this for them too, though, because I feel like they needed something devastating to bring them back together.
Yeah, she calls her second again when.
Yeah, they stay together for like some time. Like, it's not just like a quick little chat and then fly back. Like, they like spend the night.
Mhm.
And this, I think, finally gets to Manon because she not only says that like this happened to her, but it happened to other people in the coven too. And like a lot of people know about the brutality of the matron, and everyone was kind of lying to her about it. And now she's figuring this all out.
Sorry.
Poppy, welcome to the chat, Poppy.
She's never done that.
She's crazy.
Yeah, I think the 13 are just loyal to Manon, and that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. And it's definitely shown in this chapter.
Yeah.
And I agree with Astrid. She should not let the matron make them have demon babies. So
Yeah,
do
no.
whatever you have to do that's stupid because I'm ready for it. Fuck the matron.
Exactly. Chapter 64. Rowan barely remembered the trip back to Rifthold. When he woke up, Aelin and Aedion were on the other side of the bed making plans for the solstice. Aelin told Aedion that she was going to just walk in the front door to put her plans into motion. The front door of the
Of
castle.
course. Of course.
Aelin is very relieved when Rowan wakes up. He thanks Aedion and tells them to just let him in on the plans tomorrow. He also tells Aelin to take a bath because she still had witch's blood on her. Aelin tells Rowan that she saved Manon because of Astrid, how Astrid had screamed for Manon like Aelin had screamed for him. How could she take away someone who means the world to another person, even when they are her enemy? Plus, Manon was a great fighter, and falling into a ravine would have been an awful way to go out.
Yeah.
Aelin met with Lysandra, who told her that she was looking like shit. Evangeline joked that Lysandra looked worse in the morning, which got her promptly kicked out to where the boys were training. Aelin gives Lysandra a gift. She had paid off Lysandra and Evangeline's debt to Clarice, and that they were to go and get their tattoos removed. Lysandra ugly cried, which made Aelin happy that she could for once in her life look ugly. Manon and Astrid had stayed in the mountains overnight. Astrid asked her if she was ready, and Manon advised that there was something she needed to do first. They stopped by Marath just to get supplies, told Vest and Sorel the bare minimum, and then they were off with Manon following this tug that she felt towards Rifthold. Alide is locked in her cell. She had been there for 4 days now, and no one had come for her. She felt alone and that no one was ever going to come find her.
Aw.
Sad face.
Poor little lied. I don't even think anybody finds her.
Yeah. I feel like this
Oh, no.
chapter was the chapter to kind of wrap up a lot of the stories that have been pending in this book,
Yeah.
with Rowan healing, their bond becoming closer, Lysandra and Evangeline's debt being paid off,
I knew that was happening.
Manon and Astrid like really solidifying their friendship back together. And then we're just moving towards, I feel like, this end chapters of the book
Yeah.
with this chapter here.
Oh, this is the high before the low.
Yeah, it's all these warm and fuzzies with like Rowan
Yeah.
and Aelin, and like they care about each other and they're admitting that to each other. And
Oh,
you have
no.
Lysandra and Evangeline being free from their debts, and Manon and Astrid just making up and being besties again. But
Yeah.
we have this little sad fact at the end of this chapter that's shit is to come, is with Alide still locked in her cell, just to show us that yes, there have been some good things that have happened in this book, but there is a lot of shit that we still need to go through before this
Yeah.
book is done and this series is done.
Oh, I'm nervous, but also cannot wait to know how this book ends. Cannot wait. I might not sleep tonight.
That's so funny.
Chapter 65. Rowan was exhausted and missed his magic, especially with the impending use of hellfire. Meanwhile, the king escalated executions to 3 a day, sunrise, noon, and sunset, causing over half the rebels to flee as more Valk soldiers arrived. A mail sent awoke Rowan, and he realized Lorcan was on the roof. Lorcan was aware Aelin was planning something for the summer solstice in 2 days, but Rowan was tight-lipped. After trading insults about their past, Lorcan issued a grim threat, stating they would all die in the process of whatever they were planning. When Rowan taunted him about caring, Lorcan threatened to leave Rowan's body to rot instead of taking it back to Wenland next to his dead princess, or Maeve would pay well for Aelin. He then swore to Rowan that his intentions were genuine with the deal he presented them, and they made the swap, the amulet of Orinth, in exchange for Maeve's ring that provided immunity to the Valg. They swapped the items and Lorcan vanished. Aelin, awake in bed when Rowan returned, accepted the ring and asked how angry Lorcan would be when he realized he'd been deceived. The Valg demon completely shattered Dorian's last remaining mental barrier. Dorian could barely remember his own life, yet he retained one name, Manan. The demon hated that name and said they did not speak of the descendants of their kings. When questioned by the demon about who they spoke of, the demon simply said, "Good," when Dorian couldn't remember, indicating the final corruption of the prince. On the roof, Aelin and Cale prepared for the next day's mission. Cale admitted he did not regret sacrificing his freedom to send her to Wendland, calling himself a fool for serving the king and hoping he would have left one day. "With me," Aelin finished, using her name, Selena.
Oh, this is the happiness chapter. Oops.
Yeah, it's okay. Cale apologized for Nehemia and everything, though he knew it wasn't enough. Aelin apologized for mauling his face and trying to kill him, and expressed gratitude for sending her to Wendland. Cale said she deserved happiness, noting her joy with Rowan, Aedion, and Lysandra. Aelin assured him he deserved happiness too, perhaps with Nezrin, who she believes is interested in Cale. Aelin promised to make Dorian's death quick and painless, offering Cale the chance to deliver the kill. When Cale worried that only pain and despair awaited them, Aelin replied, "Then it is not the end."
Ooh.
Before the mission, Nezrin led Cale to the sea god's temple, the god of oaths. She shared some of the family history and admitted she had never felt a true sense of home. Cale promised that after all this, they would figure that out together, and he swore to walk out of the castle alive the next day. Rowan was in bed as Aelin quietly prepared for sleep. The plan was set. Rowan and Aedion would transport the 2 urns of hellfire through the sewer tunnels, while Aelin and Cale executed the most dangerous part of the mission. Thanks to Lorcan, Aelin was certain the Wordhounds were gone, ensuring their entry via the sewers would be safe. Aelin emerged in a metallic gold pajama set, a deliberate outfit meant for Rowan. She told him she wanted to kiss him at least once before the mission, and if they survived, she would give him the rest, essentially bribing him with intimacy for his survival. Despite the terrible odds, Rowan reminded her that they had always relished damning the odds. Aelin confessed that Rowan made her want to live, not just survive, a sentiment Rowan found better than any kiss. He held her tightly as they finally fell asleep. What a chapter! I feel like the end is finally coming.
Yeah.
Little by little, we're creeping closer and closer.
We are. It's getting so close.
It is. I think it's interesting here that Rowan points out how exhausted he is without his magic, and he gives humans credit for living this life without the superpowers.
Yeah.
But also, we find out here that the king is now doing 3 executions a day. All of the rebels are basically fleeing now. There's more Valk soldiers coming in, and there's like nobody left in Rifthold to help them. So this is fun.
So fun.
So fun. Lorcan's on the roof. So Rowan and him have words, which Aelin and him planned because they were gonna, trick him once more and give him the fake amulet of Orinth in exchange for this ring that gives them immunity against the Valg. Do you think the ring is fake? I think the ring is real because he says he did not deceive specifically about the ring. That's the only reason why I think it's real, because he can't technically lie or whatever bullshit Rowan said.
Oh, because he cut his hand and...
Yeah. Obviously, we know he's a little shit, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But get the ring.
Says he didn't specifically deceive them about the ring, not anything else.
Yeah, exactly. We'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
We go back to Dorian and we get this picture of the Valve demon basically destroying Dorian to the point where he's remembering Manon's name, and then by the end of this section, he doesn't remember her name. And the
Or do you
prince,
think he's just bullshitting the demon?
now knowing what I know, yes.
Hmm.
But in the moment, I was really thinking, fuck, Kale's never going to see the human side of him because the demon just like finally destroyed him.
Hmm.
So I feel like it could have went either way, not knowing. But now I'm like, yeah, probably. Because I think he's going to save himself and he's stronger than he thinks. And now he's realizing.
How to play the game.
Exactly, yeah. And what he needs to say for the demon to leave him alone.
Hmm.
This is actually where we already talked about the scene, so I'm not going to go really far into it. But this is where they give each other their peace and say, we should all be happy together with our people.
Yeah, they were just too nice to each other in this section that I was like, didn't this already
Yeah.
happen?
The only thing I do want to talk about this conversation, though, is when Kale is worried at the end that only pain and despair awaited them, and Aelin replies, then it is not the end, which actually scares the fuck out of me for the end of this book, because I know it's not the end, and I'm scared that it's going to be very painful and very despair, if that even makes sense.
No, you should be pretty scared.
I'm very scared, and I feel like that's foreshadowing for doom at the end of
There's
this book.
just, I don't know, just rereading this section or this chapter in
Doom, Megan.
general, I'm like, there's so much foreshadowing.
There's so much
And
foreshadowing.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yes. And I think this line set up the end of the book for me where I'm like scared.
Yeah.
Also excited because I want to know, but also like, fuck, something fucked up is about to happen. And that's my prediction, number 3. Thanks to this line.
Yeah.
I love this little Nezrin clip where she's showing her true feelings, I think, for Kale by taking him to this temple that is the god of oaths and making him swear that he's going to return because she can't bear the thought of losing him. Okay. And he swears he's going to live. So I like it. And they're basically having this discussion about what home is. And he's like, we're going to figure that out together after this.
Mm-hmm.
So cute. Rowan, on the other hand, finally gets his dream night outfit, the golden metallic
Bar from
pajama set.
Lysandra.
Bob from Lysandra, he wanted to rip it off her, but she was like, don't you think about it. This is Lysandra's.
Yeah.
And she really wanted to kiss him.
They kiss,
They
finally!
kiss. We finally get a kiss.
Finally, after how many fucking pages?
Literally. But she's like, oh, you can have the rest when you survive. And when I survive, bribing him with sex to survive.
Yeah.
Which is Aelin.
It's a great motivation.
Honestly, same.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, I hope you both survive, and I can't wait to read about the sex. So please hurry up and live. Speaking of live, Aelin tells Rowan that he makes her want to live, not just survive, which Rowan is like, that's fucking better than any kiss.
Yeah.
But he holds her tightly and they fall asleep. I'm like, oh, the blissfulness after that fucking line. It's not the end then. If it's despair, I'm like, oh,
I
destroyed
wish
me.
I had someone love me as much as
Aww.
these book boyfriends
I
love
know.
the main characters. I mean, these are written by female authors.
Yeah, like unrealistic.
So unrealistic.
Some guys out there are unrealistic.
Yeah.
Megan's like, not any of the ones I know.
There's all suck.
Yeah, they really do.
There could be good things on the horizon.
There could. We gotta always look at the glass half full.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure there's gonna be one or two things that I'm like, yay, but I feel like I'm gonna be like, oh no, for most of it.
What?
The end of this book.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
Chapter 66. The morning of the summer solstice, Aelin woke up early and went out to get breakfast for everyone. She would soon face the king who had murdered her family, and she would soon end Dorian's life. She thought maybe she would not even make it out of the castle alive, or be wearing a black collar of her own if Lorcan had betrayed them. All the pitfalls had been considered, and all the weapons had been sharpened. They were as ready as they would ever be. Lysandra and Evangeline had their stamps removed and were no longer enslaved to Clarice. Aelin had asked them to both leave the city, even though Lysandra wanted to help. The man Aelin was buying the pastries from told her that everyone was shaken up this morning. All these disturbing messages had popped up at every major intersection in the city. Aelin ran to find the message, which read, "Witch killer, the human is still inside of him." Aelin took off running to where Kale was staying to tell him the message was meant for Aelin, a payment for a life debt. This one sentence changed everything.
Wild.
Crazy.
I'm so happy when
I
I read that.
I think the first time I read it screamed because
Yeah.
we kind of figured just from how Dorian was interacting with Manon and what we've been seeing over the last couple chapters with him that he's still there.
Yeah.
But to see it written on the wall
I
as a
know.
message for
A life for
Aelin,
a life.
a life for a life, she's like, "Don't kill Dorian. The human is still inside him. Dorian still
Crazy.
lives."
I was like flipping through the pages too, looking at how long every chapter was because I'm a psycho. And I saw Witch Killer, but I didn't see the rest. I purposely blacked out my eyes so I didn't see it because I don't want to
Yeah.
ruin it. And when
Mhm.
I saw that, it was so much better. I thought it was going to be like feud at that
Mm.
point when I read that. I'm like, Witch Killer? Oh my God, she knows.
Yeah.
And then I read it. I'm like, oh, so much better than I thought.
And she wrote it in Valg blood
Yes. Oh,
all over the
everywhere,
city.
like
Yeah.
all over the place. Yeah. Oh,
So she
wild.
murdered a bunch of Valg just to write this message.
I love it.
Me too.
She's really showing her true colors
She's
after her
finally
chat
turning
with
to the right
Astrid.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. So funny. Chapter 67. Aelin and Kale joined Rowan and Adian to bring the two urns of Hellfire into the sewers. Before splitting up for the final phase of the mission, the group shared a tense, emotional farewell. Rowan shook Kale's hand, while Aelin embraced Rowan, breathing in his scent as if it were the last time. Aelin then turned to Adian, grasped his face, and they reaffirmed their resolve. They would succeed for Terrasen, for their family, for Marion, and for themselves.
Mhm.
Adian bowed his head and presented Aelin with the sword of Orinth, urging her to light up the darkness after 10 years of shadows. Aelin looked at the three men who meant everything to her and more and said, "Let's go rattle the stars."
It's just so wild to me because when she writes these things, so light up the darkness reminds me of Crescent City with the
Mm.
light it up from Danica, how they would say that to each other. And then let's go rattle the stars is just like, I feel like very ACOTAR based,
Aw. Yeah, like little nods to her other series. I haven't
even
really read
though
Crescent City,
I don't
but
think Crescent City was written yet when this book was,
mm,
but she was writing ACOTAR during these books.
interesting. I feel like the last couple chapters have been setting us up for the end
Yeah.
of the book, and I feel like this one is the final, like, okay, Kale and Rowan are shaking hands. Aelin is hugging Rowan, breathing in his scent as if it was the last time.
Mhm.
Aelin and Adian are gonna do it for their family, for Terrasen, for Marion, for themselves. I'm like, oh,
I know. You just know something bad's gonna happen.
I'm just like, no, tis not the end. Tis not the end.
So funny.
Oh, I just have to keep reminding myself of that line at the end of this book because it's just gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Aelin has her dad's sword and she's ready to go rattle the stars, baby. Let's
Let's
fucking go.
go.
Let's go.
Chapter 68. Lysandra was in her carriage heading out of Rifthold with Evangeline. She said they should have left last night, but she had to say goodbye. She prayed for her friends and hoped that she was making the right choice by leaving for Evangeline. Rowan and Adian are heading for the castle catacombs carrying the heavy vats of hellfire. It was getting harder and harder for them to see where they were headed, even with their fey eyesight. Rowan was babying Adian, which was annoying him, but knew Rowan was most likely doing this to distract himself to what Aelin was now doing in the glass castle. So Adian continued to follow Rowan into the iron gates of the castle catacombs.
Ugh.
Aelin led Kale and Shackles, now pretending to be Selena Sardothian, the king's champion, again as a ruse to get into the castle and complete their plan. When they arrived to the outside of the castle, they saw all of Kale's men, including Ress and Brullo, hanging dead as a
Oh,
message to Kale. Aelin even had tears in her eyes, and Kale said that they needed to change the plan. We do not know what the change of plan is, but Aelin tells Kale she will make it count and tells the guards of the gates to tell the king his champion is back and she has one heck of a prize for him.
wild. Poor Ress and Brullo.
I know.
R.A.P.
I know. I don't really have anything to add for this
Yeah.
chapter.
Yeah. Besides, like, of course, this is how she walks through the front fucking door with Kale chained.
Oh, and I want to know what the change of plan is because he's like, we need to change plans. And it doesn't say what they're doing. She
Well,
just
not to kill Dorian, right?
Yeah, but she already ran to his house to tell him that Dorian is still alive. So I feel like that plan has already changed, that they wouldn't be killing Dorian.
Mm.
So what is seeing his dead men on the outside? Maybe he gets to kill the I don't know.
Oh,
But
maybe
then
he
Aelin
wanted to
says
kill
to
the king.
him, "I'll make it count." So I don't
Maybe
know.
that's what it is. He wants to kill the king, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm killing the king, but I'll make it count. Like, trust
Yeah.
me."
So I'm like, what is the change of plan? Don't change plans the last second when you're fucking walking into the castle.
I know, especially when you can't discuss. Like,
Yeah.
don't even mention trying to do something different from the plan.
Yeah. Don't
Fucking Kale.
deter from the plan. The plan is the plan.
Yeah. Chapter 69. Aelin, playing the role of the loyal assassin, Selena Sardothian, led a chained Kale through the palace. Her weapons were left untouched, as she suspected the guards assumed the king's champion was weeks early for her expected return, and still loyal. Aelin hoped the word marks drawn on her body with Kale's blood would mask her Fey heritage from the few vowed demons present. She noticed a lack of servants, speculating that most had fled since Adian's rescue. They entered the king's council room where the king sat on his glass throne with a possessed Dorian standing beside him. Kale and Aelin's faces stirred a flicker of memory in Dorian, but the demon quickly suppressed it, and Dorian denied knowing them. Playing her part, Aelin announced she had killed the king and prince of Wedland, presenting the king with replica seals rings made by Lysandra's jeweler. She claimed she would have brought their heads, but was stopped by pissy immigration officials. She searched for the feeling of the word keys, but couldn't feel them as clearly as the one in the amulet of Orinth. When the king questioned her absence during Narok's attack on Wenland, she coolly deflected, asking if she was expected to be anywhere other than hunting her prey. Finally, the king asked how she captured the captain of the guard. Aelin claimed Kale, acting like a good dog, met her at the docks, out of uniform, and confessed everything. However, the king then dropped his pretense, revealing his full awareness by asking who was truly conspiring more, the captain of the guard or his champion, or should he call her Aelin? I was like, he knows! Like,
He
obviously, I feel
knows.
like he knew the whole time.
But not really. I think once she left and
Yeah.
was in Wendland, there was just too many coincidences for it not to be her.
Exactly. Yeah, he didn't know when she was in Wenland when all that was going on, but I think he just like put it together.
Yeah, I think with Narok's attack, I think he realized that one, they were the same person.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's when it probably clicked into place.
Good for her though for still trying to put on a show.
I mean, she's not going to reveal her cards
Of
if he's
course
not
not.
going to, but now that he has, she's like, "All right."
She's like, "Yep, you're right, and you're about to get your ass whooped."
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Scared. That's my last chapter of the episode.
Oh
So
shit.
you are finishing it up for us, darling.
All right, my last chapter of the night, chapter 70. Rowan and Adian were continuing through the tunnels to complete their mission with the Hellfire. Once they passed through the iron door in the castle catacombs, they felt the word stone and the headache it immediately gave them. The power of it, even though they were warned, was immense, and it gave them a nosebleed and bleeding from Rowan's ear. When something dropped from the ceiling, it was a piece from his missing cloak. Lorcan had lied. He had not killed the word hounds. He gave them Rowan's scent, and they had arrived.
I remember audibly saying, "No fucking way!" reading that.
Yeah. Aelin tells the king he can call her whatever name he'd like. Selena, Aelin, Lillian,
Mhm.
whatever, she doesn't care. She was disappointed that it took the king this long to figure out who she was. Kale stops pretending that he's in shackles, and the king kicks out his guards. The king was mad at himself for having her chained in Endovier and his champion and didn't realize who he had shackled. The king
Stupid.
thinks it's too bad that she doesn't have her flames now. Aelin asks the king about the word keys. Kale magically has Demarius again. The king is ranting about Aelin of the Wildfire and what would her people think of a corrupted princess. The king asks Aelin if she knows the cost of using one of the word keys, and does Aelin want to go head to head with him with the spells she stole from him against the raw power of the keys. The king demonstrates on Dorian using the power to whip him with the dark power, that he was willing to sacrifice Dorian because he has a second son and another heir. Kale wanted the king to free Dorian and to name his price. The king asked if he would turn in his former lover, he'd be losing a weapon and would need one in return. The clock was striking 12. The king now knows Aelin has the Eye of Elena, which could unlock Erewhon's tomb, and she promises to destroy him. The king says that Aelin has made a big mistake, which he is starting to think is true because it is noon and the clock tower was still standing.
Ah,
So much happens in
I
just
hate
this
Lorcan.
one little section. So let's go
Yes.
back. Adian and Rowan are in the tomb. They're almost to where they need to be to set off this hellfire. They are this close to where they need to be. And Lorcan has betrayed them.
Ah,
And the word hounds are still alive, all of them. And Lorcan had given them Rowan's scent instead of his own. And now these word hounds have been tracking Rowan this down in the tunnels, and right before they're supposed to be, they're right on top of them. And so we don't know what happens to them at the end of the section. We just
but we
have to
do know they're
wait.
late in putting the hellfire on.
We do know that they are late and the clock tower is still standing, which is not good news because magic
No.
is not free. And Aelin is essentially powerless against the king. All she
Yep.
has is some spells and her
Some
sword.
word marks, yeah.
Yeah. The king likes that Aelin is just being really direct and is going straight to the point and asking about the word keys. And the king tells her something really interesting. You don't even know the cost of what using these keys are, which is very concerning.
Yeah.
Also,
Like, it's not him.
I don't know.
He has to give himself up to a Val King. I feel like he's going to.
Yes. And then also, I think it's interesting that the king says that Aelin has made a big mistake when she shows him that she has the Eye of Elena
Yeah.
and knows that using the Eye of Elena could
Can open the
bend
tomb.
tomb, which I think is really weird because why would the Eye of Elena be able to open his tomb?
Well, they said he locked him away with word marks and
Spells.
spells that, like,
No
couldn't.
key could
Yeah.
open.
So
But
maybe the key is the Eye of Elena.
and she's figured this out and is now just telling us in front of the
Yeah,
king.
I guess so. I was
But
surprised to learn that too.
yeah, I didn't remember that. And I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
But
Erewhon scares me. Is he already here?
maybe.
Well, I guess he can't be if she's had the Eye of Elena, but he's coming, and that makes me scared. How is he going to get the Eye of Elena to let him out?
But I mean, is it just the Eye of Elena that can open the door? Like, couldn't a word key open up his? It can open any door.
If he has all three,
But does
right?
he need all three to open a door? Because he
Oh,
can
I thought
still,
he did. I thought he did need all three to open a door.
I think, to fully open a door to another world. But can
Oh,
one key or two keys
open
open
the
up like
tomb.
or at least a small, because they were opening portals with just word marks. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many unanswered questions.
So many unanswered questions, darling. Thank God it's not the end of this book. I'm gonna have
It's
a
like,
fucking heart attack reading the
can
end.
the Eye of Elena open the door? Does the word key, like one or two word keys, can they open the door? Has the door already been opened?
Yeah.
Or are we going to open a door to destroy Erewhon? Like, there's just so many things that we need to know.
We need to know.
But we're not going to know for now. We end this section with the clock tower still standing and everyone's in a big shit mess.
I do have one last prediction to add, which I do think this clock tower will fall. I don't know how. I don't know who. But I feel like the Hellfire is going to take out the Word Hounds and hopefully not Adian and Rowan.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But I think
Prayers
the
to
clock
Mala, the
towers are going
firebringer.
down. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think the clock tower is going down for sure. And that's where I'm going to leave it for now because I'm just fucking soup to get to the end of this book. I can't wait to know how it ends.
Yay.
Yay! So that's all we have for you today. Please let us know what you think by leaving us a review and comments on any of the platforms you are listening/watching on or on our social media pages. This helps tremendously to get the word out and lead more listeners to find our show and tune in. And come join our book club Discord. You can find the link in our bios on Insta and TikTok. And this month we are reading The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. We love chatting with you guys, so don't be shy.
Don't forget to email, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and tell all your friends about us. And we hope the rest of your day is blissful.
Bye.
Bye. Uh-huh.
Thank you so much for listening. Join us next week for part 6 of Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, covering chapters 71 through 89. Happy reading!